Historians say ancient Persian travelers stopped at roadside shrines for spiritual comfort. The evidence suggests something far more practical. The standard account is straightforward. Merchants and soldiers crossing the Persian Empire between the 5th and 3rd centuries BCE would pause at small stone shrines dotting the roads. They'd offer prayers, maybe leave a coin or cloth, seek divine protection for the journey ahead. Simple devotion, simple faith. Scholars have supported this for decades. Religious texts mention Ahura Mazda, the supreme deity in Zoroastrianism. Inscriptions from Darius and Xerxes invoke divine favor. So the logic follows. Travelers were religious people seeking blessing. The shrines existed because faith was central to survival. But there's a problem with this reading. Archaeological surveys in the 1970s and 1980, particularly in the regions around the Royal Road from Sardis to Susa, revealed something unexpected. The shrines weren't randomly placed. They appeared at precise intervals, every 30 to 40 kilometers. Exactly one day's travel on foot or horseback. This wasn't coincidence. This was infrastructure planning. The shrines weren't scattered according to sacred geography. They were positioned according to human exhaustion. Look closer at what merchants actually left behind. Coins, yes, but also water vessels. Cloth scraps tied to stones, not as offerings, but as markers. Smooth grooves worn into shrine walls, not from prayer but from travelers' sharpening tools. The physical evidence tells a different story. A merchant traveling the Royal Road in 400 BCE didn't face the same dangers we imagine. The Achaemenid Empire had largely pacified its territories. Bandits existed, yes, but the real killer was simpler. Dehydration, exhaustion, getting lost at night. The shrines functioned as rest stations, shelter from sun and wind, a place to refill water from cisterns built into the shrine foundations, a marker that proved you were on the correct route, a point where you could wait if your group fell behind. The religious language served a practical purpose. You couldn't advertise a public rest station as mere logistics, so it became sacred. The shrine keeper, a position documented in later Persian texts, maintained supplies and security. But he was also a roadmaster, a guide, an information broker. Merchants didn't leave coins for the guards. They left them as payment to the keeper. The water vessels weren't offerings. They were communal resources. The cloth markers, a system. 1 cloth meant safe passage. 2 meant danger ahead. 3 meant supplies needed. What changed the interpretation was a 1994 study examining shrine dedications across 3 provinces. The inscriptions, previously read as pure prayer, contained practical information. Distances to the next shrine. Water availability. Which routes had been cleared of debris. The shrine at Behistun, for example, sits at a crucial junction. Scholars assumed its prominence came from the nearby relief of Darius, but the shrine predates that carving by decades. It was placed there because it's the only reliable water source for 50 kilometers. This reframes the entire system. The Achaemenid Empire didn't build shrines to spread faith. It built a logistics network and dressed it in religion. The state ensured merchants could travel safely and predictably. The ritual was the infrastructure. The keepers were state employees, not priests. They reported to regional governors. They maintained roads, managed supplies, recorded passage. A merchant's prayer was actually checking in, confirming the next leg was passable. This explains why shrine maintenance was so consistent across the empire, why repairs happened on schedule, why the system lasted centuries under different dynasties. It wasn't faith that sustained it. It was necessity and state investment. The irony is that calling these places shrines wasn't wrong, but it obscured their true function. We assumed religious motivation and missed economic sophistication. The Achaemenid Empire was running a commerce network so efficient it hid itself inside theology. A merchant stopping at a shrine wasn't seeking the god's favor. He was confirming his supplies, checking the road ahead, and participating in a system designed by bureaucrats who understood that survival requires infrastructure, not miracles. The forgotten daily ritual wasn't spiritual, it was practical, and that's far more interesting than faith. It's proof that ancient empires could organize complexity at scale. They just called it something else. Subscribe for weekly deep dives into how everyday people actually survived in ancient civilizations, the unglamorous systems that made empires work.